Steve Beckner was on the 14th floor of the first tower, and he managed to get out.
I immediately looked out the window, and all kinds of debris were falling. It was like first thought was, my God, this is like an old-fashioned ticker tape parade, but it was just tons of paper and shredded metal and all kinds of things falling past my window.
The number of dead and wounded is expected to be in the thousands. Beth Fertig of member station WNYC reports from New York.
Mayor Rudolph Giuliani called the attacks vicious and unprovoked. He said the number of casualties is sure to be more than any of us can bear. So far, at least 1,500 people were evacuated by ferry to New Jersey for treatment, and the local hospitals are being flooded with hundreds more. The mayor and the governor say they're now focused on saving as many lives as possible. All of Lower Manhattan has been evacuated for ambulance traffic, and hundreds of police and firefighters are involved in the rescue operation. The National Guard is also coming. The mayor says the city is now under a state of emergency, but he says, if anything, that means New Yorkers should feel more secure. He urged people to set an example and show the world that terrorism can't stop the city. For NPR News, I'm Beth Fertig in New York.
Then, about 90 minutes later, a commercial plane with more than 60 people on board crashed into the Pentagon. It was an American Airlines plane on its way to Los Angeles from Washington. NPR's John McChesney says that there was construction underway at the time.
Some of the Pentagon was under construction, so it may have been somewhat less populated than other areas, but it was not unpopulated, as some reports have had it. There were lots of construction workers here and lots of office workers. No one that I heard today so far has given any estimate of how many people they think were inside this section. There's an air here of incredible unreality about this. If you worked in the Pentagon and you're looking at this building blackened and charred and collapsed in front of you as one of the most invincible symbols of Western power, I think people here are deeply saddened, and I think they're also feeling incredibly vulnerable.
NPR's John McChesney outside the Pentagon. President Bush will speak to the nation tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Earlier, the president said the United States will hunt down and punish those responsible for this morning's cowardly acts. He said the U.S. military has been put on high alert status. The president cut short a trip to Florida, said that he had taken security precautions to make sure the government continues to function. This is NPR News.
It's 3:34, time now for Arizona News. I'm Nelson Warnell. A University of Arizona community gathering was held on the Mall at noon today to brief students, faculty, and staff on the current situation in New York and Washington, D.C. Thousands of students, faculty, and staff gathered at the mall. A representative for Tucson's Muslim community, Omar, expressed his grief.
We are extremely sad because we are worked hard in the campus for better America. And unfortunately, all the time we have crazy people interrupt our lives. As you know, the weakest action speaks louder than the strongest word. For that, in the Islamic Center tomorrow we are going to do a blood drive to help our brothers and sisters who have been injured and killed.
University of Arizona President Peter Likens said it was necessary for everyone to remain calm and not overreact. The American Red Cross Southern Arizona chapter is asking people who wish to donate blood to wait a day or two. Red Cross spokeswoman Kate Donahoe says all blood drives have been canceled today, but blood collection centers are open at Foothills Mall and its headquarters on Broadway. But Donahoe says waiting rooms are filled to capacity.
We're cautioning people today there are right now more than 4 to 5 hour waits to donate blood, and certainly based on the scope of this tragedy, there will be blood needs in the coming days and most likely in the coming weeks. And we will keep folks apprised as far as donor location and hours.
Donahoe says more than 50,000 pints of blood are on their way to help people injured in today's terrorist attacks. The Red Cross will be helping people to locate family members, but there is a 48-hour moratorium on inquiries. The agency is also accepting donations for disaster relief in the affected areas. US 93 over Hoover Dam remains closed. That is a precaution due to the terrorist attacks today in New York and Washington. That means a detour of more than 100 miles for motorists traveling between Arizona and Las Vegas. State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Jaime Malera, is urging schools across Arizona to begin tomorrow with a moment of silence in honor of the victims of the terrorist attacks. Malera is also urging schools and parents to help organize blood donations for those injured in the attacks. Malera condemned the attacks as senseless acts of cowardice and violence. And all the major shopping malls in the Phoenix and Tucson areas are closed in respect of those killed in today's terrorist attacks. The 5 Phoenix area malls operated by Westcor partners shut down at mid-afternoon. For KUAZ News, I'm Nelson Warnell at 3:57.
Tonight in 2.5 hours' time.
In New York City tonight, people are still struggling to comprehend the day's events. Beth Burdick from member station WNYC just came from a news conference with New York's Mayor, Rudolph Giuliani, and she joins us now. Beth, because of where City Hall is located, the mayor himself was an eyewitness to this disaster. What did he say about his experience?
Well, the mayor is a very hands-on type of mayor, and he went immediately to the World Trade Center when the first plane struck the first tower. And then, sometime before the second plane struck the next tower, he became stuck in one of the surrounding buildings. He was stuck there for quite some time and became an eyewitness to the collapse of one of the buildings. Some reporters ran into him on the street as he was fleeing with his entourage, trying to figure out where to go next, and he wound up at another location with the governor, an undisclosed location for security reasons, where he's been briefing reporters throughout the day.
In New York City now, the effort must be simply to get people out of the area and into hospitals if they need to, try to get the dead out of the building.
Yes, that's right. The mayor and the governor and police commissioner refuse to speculate on how many people have died. They say that it's just too early to talk about that yet. There's no way to know, and it would be unfair. We'd just be guessing, they told us. But right now what they